Hey, good morning, everybody. It's really a privilege to be able to stand here in front of everybody. It's great to see so many familiar faces, but equally it's great to see a lot of new faces as well. And I think it's attestation to the great growth that has happened in Coaltech in the last few years, and I think arguably definitely becoming more and more relevant. So my name's Adrian Haagner. I'm a director with Agreenco. Agreenco has been a long-term service provider to many of the Coaltech partners, such as Glencore, Tungela, Exxaro, Seriti, as well as the various predecessors, and Eskom and Sasol, and some of the mid-tiers as well, ever since we joined Coaltech as an implementation partner back in 2016. And we've been on the environmental steercom since then. And as I've already mentioned, Agreenco was actually originally brought on as an implementation partner to try and take some of the technologies forward and actually bring them into industry. What we do see, what everybody's of course aware of, is that there are a number of challenges facing industry at the moment. And looking particularly at the rehabilitation, surface environment and water space, we are in an unprecedentedly complex environmental, regulatory and operational set of challenges that we face. And these really demand integrated science-based solutions, really working with the data we've got to guide us through. And in terms of the specific challenges that we see out there that are having a big impact on the work that we do and the outcomes that we're after, the first one I want to highlight is the short-term procurement paradigm, where there's a bit of a fallacy that's developed that we can procure sustainability. And I think we sometimes in danger of losing sight if we're able to procure the processes. But sustainability, there's no shortcuts for that. Secondly, I want to use the word hamstrung by regulatory uncertainty. We have a couple of pressing matters such as the evolving technical advisory note on mine residue facilities from DWS, which is actually crippling advancement and implementation of the critical rehabilitation works that need to be undertaken. We've got this unofficial moratorium on pit lakes, which is also holding industry back. And lastly, we've got, or rather we don't have, a workable set of financial provision regulations that are actually able to be implemented to unlock a lot of the work that needs to be done. And all this, what this does is it creates a lot of uncertainty and a lot of compliance risk. That if you're going to spend money, you don't know whether the outcomes are actually going to be accepted by the regulator or not. Thirdly, we see a big challenge in that there's a growing break in the implementation chain. And by that we mean that we're seeing a bigger gap between the design intent for rehabilitated landforms, for water treatment systems, for discard dump designs, etc., and then what's actually implemented at the end of the day. Fortunately, there's a lot of good work in this space, but we are finding challenges with eventual work actually being acceptable for sign-off. The fourth challenge I want to highlight is the gap between closure provisions and the enterprise needs. And then lastly, of course, the sustainability outcomes. So ultimately, as Agreenco, we've tried to tailor our services to deliver measurable outcomes that address a lot of these challenges. We try to be absolutely science and data backed so that we can provide the regulators with certainty to be able to accurately evaluate applications. We utilize our experience and our expertise to assist in reducing environmental and financial risk in projects, which then stretches to assisting in optimizing operational expenditure as well, which in the end of the day gives us long-term environmental performance and sustainable value for stakeholders. Okay, so I'm just going to go through a couple of slides which highlight some of Agreenco's services under air quality, land management, water management, and biodiversity. And starting first on air quality, as a lot of you all know, this has been a particularly hot topic. In the last 8 months, we've had the updates to the high-fault priority area and the emissions reduction management plans that everyone has had to submit. And we've also just had the National Dust Control Regulations update was promulgated in April. And there's a lot of deadlines that everybody's had to scramble with to get compliant with these updated regulations. Agreenco has been the only advisory firm that's been able to help clients to achieve first-time compliance with these emission reduction management plans with a 100% success rate, which has been unique in industry. We're able to use advanced modeling using defensible on-site emission factors, not just the generic factors that often overstate emissions. And we've really brought data and technology into the space as well, using things like real-time monitoring of dust, of particulates, and of certain gases that are able to give you real-time risk of what's actually happening on your sites. Enables you to actually track the efficiency of mitigations to see how well they're performing, how well is your rand spent. And then also, I think, pretty cool advancements, be able to give things like 36-hour hyperlocal events, forewarning you of when high dust-generating conditions are going to be prevalent. And then lastly, in the event if you actually do have an exceedance, the data and the modeling generated by this actually allows you to pinpoint the nexus or genesis of where those exceedances may have taken place to see whether it was actually your responsibility or not. Yes, then sticking with air quality services, Agreenco is able to undertake designs for all air quality management programs, but we also are able to implement and have vast experience of actually implementing our designs, whether it be haul road dust suppression and evaluating whether water trucks or fixed or mobile sprinkler systems are going to be more effective, all the way through to looking at materials handling, stockpiles, transfer points, etc. And we always link these back to the emission reduction management plans and the air quality management plans. And we utilize this to actually show consistent emission reductions, not only get you to compliance, but get you to optimized expenditure as well. Next slide, please. Then with regards to spontaneous combustion, we've got long-term projects which have been running for some of them as long as 13 years, where we've had these long-reach, high-pressure sprayers that has been able to prove reduction and extinction of spontaneous combustion from stockpiles and high walls. And these sprayers themselves have been lasting for that amount of time as well. All right, next slide, please. Great, so moving on from air quality to water management. At Agreenco, we do see ourselves as irrigation specialists. We remain the only firm that's been able to achieve a water use license for large-scale irrigation of mine-impacted water. The project, I will highlight, is 8.6 megalitres per day that's been authorized. And we've actually been able to demonstrate at scale actual implementation of irrigating with mine-impacted water on mine-impacted land. We're able to fully utilize the WRC guidelines and the decision support system that's been developed as part of Coaltech programs. And what we feel perhaps sets us apart is that we undertake very detailed irrigation designs from our expertise in having implemented many of these systems. And we couple that with our understanding of the total water make and the mine water balance under different rainfall conditions. We're also able to undertake fairly detailed predictive modeling, and that enables us to actually give the regulator a high degree of certainty when they're evaluating these irrigating water use licenses of what the risks are, what the impacts are, what can be done about it, and whether it's actually a good idea or not. Next slide, please. Okay, so moving on from irrigation to seepage management. We've got quite a lot of projects and history and tools which we implement for recharge and seepage management, whether it be by enhancing vegetation performance to look at evapotranspiration for reducing ingress, looking at afforestation to undertake similar things to intercept and evapotranspire, and then also integrated with engineering designs. So we've got a dedicated understanding of total water balance, and we've built up a lot of this experience through long-term monitoring studies with some Coaltech members over many, many years of tree evapotranspiration. And we couple this with our experience in silvicultural management, coupled again with irrigation, ingress management, and mopping up plumes. And we've even been able to get to the size of where we have woodlots, which then can be harvested for socioeconomic post-mining land uses. And the crux is that, I guess, we always integrate this with upstream engineering and chemical interventions. Nature-based solutions is very much where we play, but there are often some limitations, and we do sometimes still have to do things like look at chemical interventions for precipitation. Next slide, please. Moving from the above-ground seepage management to bioremediation of groundwater, we also have expertise in the in-situ remediation of groundwater, of aquifers and shallow plumes, either via microbial degradation or anaerobic bioremediation. The one image there shows more active, where we're actually doing direct injection of microbial communities with the foods that they need to actively degrade nitrate and sulfate plumes. And we've moved beyond proof of concept into large-scale management of these plumes, whether it be via aquifer injection or microbial degradation. And we've also now started demonstrating mine-scale bioreactors, which show managed precipitation of contaminants of concern. The image in the center there was actually also a combination treatment wetland with some anaerobic, some aerobic, some etc., which was implemented at one of the Coaltech partners and is performing really well in terms of the in situ bioremediation. And then moving from water onto biodiversity, this is a lot of the fun stuff, if I can call it that. We're very much involved with a lot of the Coaltech members with assisting with planning and monitoring the terrestrial and aquatic biodiversity. We then also have teams which have a large focus on alien invasive vegetation, whether it be the delineation and management plans, the actual eradication of invasive species, whether it be via newer technologies like drones or older technology. We have teams on site. And then we also do quite a lot of work with regards to nuisance vegetation, whether it be fire breaks, pipelines, etc. Ultimately, when it comes to biodiversity, we can offer end-to-end biodiversity management solutions for all of your needs. Also, some of the more feel-good projects relate to some of the biodiversity services. We've got dedicated teams that are very well experienced in terms of managing threatened and protected species, whether it be delineating these populations, doing the translocation plans and permitting, doing the physical relocation, the establishment, design of nurseries, operating of nurseries, and then actually the transplantation programs. We do tens of thousands of protected plant species relocations and management on an annual basis. And then something which is definitely picking up in the coal sector, but which is increasing in general in mining, is afforestation. So we undertake afforestation for many different reasons, whether it be for recharge reduction, for seepage control, for carbon sequestration, or sometimes even for a combination of these. And it can be using indigenous plants or using permitted exotic species. So again, we're able to assist there with the design, the monitoring, the permitting, and even the economic feasibility of afforestation programs, as well as the implementation and maintenance thereof. Apologies, I forgot to ask them to try to move the slide. If you can, sorry, this is just the image showing the threatened and protected species relocations, and this is just on the afforestation programs. And next slide again, please. Okay, sorry, can we move one back, please? Thank you. Okay, so the last slide with regards to biodiversity is a section that we're particularly passionate about. It's got to do with wetland rehabilitation, wetland offsets and treatment wetlands. Agreenco, together with our partners, have got really good experience and expertise in the design of wetlands for rehabilitation or treatment. We have a proven track record of actually implementing the designs. That's where a lot of hard lessons have been learned. And we're also able to assist with the identification, licensing, conceptualization, implementation of wetland offsets. I'm sure there's many of you that do have wetland offsets as part of your commitments in water use licenses. And it doesn't matter whether the wetlands are direct rehabilitation or nature-based solutions for treatment. We're able to assist with anything in that regard. Next slide, please. Okay, that brings us on then to the last set of services I wanted to highlight, which is our land management services. The first of which is our rehabilitation performance assessments and rehabilitation management plans. So Agreenco is arguably the leader in South Africa with regards to rehabilitation performance assessments. We're responsible for annual auditing of more than 40,000 hectares of open-cast coal rehabilitation and mine residue facilities across most of the operations. We've also published extensively at both local and international conferences in this matter. I think what we quite like about doing the performance assessments as well is that it enables us to actually inform the rehabilitation requirements, to take underperforming rehabilitating areas and really get them up to scratch with optimized expenditure. Next slide. All right, then over and above the auditing, we also really do enjoy getting involved in the planning of rehabilitation with regards to rehab designs and rehabilitation plans. It doesn't matter whether it's backfilled open cast areas, whether it's undermined areas, or discard facilities. We can undertake the designs all the way through from concept to final design for construction. And we're the only company in Africa that have designers certified in the GeoFluve software for geomorphic landform design. Be those images on the right of the screen there. of actually integrating sustainability in terms of water management and zero to low maintenance type landforms. And we're also able to undertake geomorphic landform design modeling, which you can see on the image on the left there, sorry, your right, indicating where there might be weak points in the hundreds and thousands year horizon with regards to erosion. Lastly, then, we're also able to assist navigate through the complex regulatory side of things for discard dump rehabilitation, whether it be the technical advisory note or the risk-based approach, able to assist you in which is the best advised route to take for your mine residue facility. The next slide, please. And then I think what a lot of you probably know us quite well for will be our land management services with regards to actual implementation of rehabilitation. So the implementation of new rehabilitation or maintenance of previously rehabilitated areas. We have the site-ready teams that are able to undertake the work, whether it be open cast rehab, whether it be discard facility rehabilitation, from conventional pasture establishment all the way through to biomass production, under irrigation, and even cropping and biomass. Next slide, please. Okay, which brings us on then to what we see as the next frontier of land rehabilitation, which is moving from just an implementation model to an integrated land stewardship model. And as I say, it's the next frontier. So moving from compliance towards moving to sustainability. To do this, we need to create rehabilitation partnerships where we outsource rehabilitation, maintenance, socioeconomic land use, and actually build and provide that combined economic, ecological, and environmental case for closure to take to the regulators. These pictures are all from projects we've undertaken on coal mined land using mine impacted water, all quite licensed. And one of the ones we are quite proud of, we were discussing this morning, which is on your right-hand side, was the Klipfontein biogas project, where we actually utilized mine impacted water to grow bioenergy crops on previously mined land. And we harvested and actually produced biogas, which was tested to 98% methane purity. And the intention there was to actually utilize that in CNG-powered vehicles. But the technology exists, the case studies of pilots exist. We just need to get together in terms of partnerships to actually make these things happen. Okay, next slide, please. This is the final slide. Just, again, wanted to say thank you very much. It's really great to be involved with Coaltech, and we're appreciative of your attention this morning. We've got a stand as Agreenco at the back there over tea, so please come and visit us anytime and talk to us if there's anything you'd like to discuss. Thank you.